What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about the WNBA and Unrivaled. Now, right now, there's not too much going on in the WNBA. Everybody's waiting to see what happens with these negotiations that's going on between the WNBA players and and the league, right? And now I think in less than a week, or probably around a week, Unrivaled will be starting up. And I'm not really hearing a lot of people, a lot of buzz about it. This is the second season. I thought the first season was okay. They had some moderate success. If they want to be, if the Unrivaled wants to grow, they need to have more success than what they did last year. But for it being their first year, I thought it was pretty good, right? But now that they're coming up on year two, there's not a lot of buzz about it. And I think for several reasons, I think that there's not a lot of buzz about the WNBA. Players, like some of the star players from the WNBA are not playing in Unrivaled. So that's probably why there's not a lot of buzz about it. You don't have number one, you don't have Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark didn't play last year, right? And I think that Caitlin Clark to the league to Unrivaled would have definitely been a big boost. Then you don't have Asia Wilson. That would have also helped them. This year you don't have Angel Reese, and so that would have helped them. Like a lot of the big name, some of the big name players are not really even playing in Unrivaled. So that is not, that's not really a good look for them. Like when you talk about Unrivaled, and even though Unrivaled say, well, we're paying more than the WNBA, how come you're still not able to attract players like Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson, to Unrivaled? Like Asia Wilson didn't play last year either. And so there has to be something else going on, in my opinion, behind the scenes, because this year you don't even have Angel Reese playing in the league. And so, it must be something more than money. So that right there, when you don't have the stars from the WNBA playing over Unrivaled, even though Unrivaled said they're paying more, that hurts them, right? Then you have the fact that there's a new league starting up, and it's the Project B League. And so Project B, I think, is they're going to pay probably about the same amount as Unrivaled. But the thing about Project B is their league is less gimmicky. Their league is not a 3-on-3. I think Project B it's going to be definitely 5-on-5, but it's not as gimmicky. I don't think a lot of people are really interested in seeing a 3-on-3 basketball league. So it's a hard sell. Last year, I think people probably checked it out more so because of curiosity. But this year, shows that a lot of all right, we saw what you did. They did some pretty cool things, like the one-on-one tournament that they had. I thought that was different and that was cool. But it's not seeming like that was enough to keep people, like, to make people want to see come back this year, right? Then on top of that, Unrivaled this year is going to be on True TV, which is, I don't know why. Like, why would they put it on True TV? Like, they saw what happened to the WNBA when the WNBA had their games on a Lifetime network, right? One of those smaller networks where they not really, like, you really have to be looking for it. People are not really. They needed a major network in order to help push to push Unrivaled, push their product, and push these stars and stuff like that. And True TV is, in my opinion, I don't think they can do that on True TV. Like I said, the WNBA tried it with Lifetime. That didn't work out for them. So WNBA now is, they're on the major networks. They're on ESPN. if you're trying to catch the WNBA or compete with the WNBA and you're trying to do it with True TV or trying to do it with like what the WNBA did with the, you know, with what TV, what channel, what station was that? Lifetime station. It's gonna be hard. I really don't think that they stand a chance. So I think that the WNBA have relationships, whereas though major sponsors and major advertisers and stuff like that really are not going to deal with Unrivaled, right? And I don't think that the WNBA is telling them not to deal with Unrivaled or do business with them. But if they can kind of put the word out there without actually saying it, like for instance, if a sponsor do business with Unrivaled, that will probably cut into the business that you're doing with the WNBA or NBA, right? That's going to affect that relationship. So major sponsors don't want to mess that relationship up because they got a good thing going. Why gamble on something that might succeed when you have already a proven product? So the major sponsors that Unrivaled need, they probably won't be able to get those guys signed on because they already have relationships with the NBA and the WNBA. So that's that right there, I think is really going to be a major blow for them, and they need this. And they also Unrivaled had a 3-year TV deal. So that's another reason why I don't understand why it's Unrivaled on True TV when they had a 3-year deal, and now they on True TV. So something else is going on behind the scenes, in my opinion, that's causing like I said, the big stars in the WNBA don't want no parts of it. Although at the beginning it was good for them because they used it as leverage, you know, sh- to show the WNBA like, look, we can play in another league if y'all don't want to pay us, right? But now this year, it just don't seem to be working like that. So the major star, Caitlin Clark didn't go for that anyway, right? Um, Asia Wilson didn't go for that anyway. And now, like I said, you have other stars around the W who not playing. So that is, in my opinion, I think there's some inner workings going on behind the scenes with the WNBA. And I've heard one player, I forgot this young lady name, but she said that she was afraid that they were going to go on strike, right? And I think it's a lot of that, unless you have leverage or you have money or you have, which most WNBA players don't have. Like most people are not like Caitlin Clark. They don't have that the major sponsor deals. Like Caitlin Clark, I'm not to be in her pockets or nothing like that, but her Nike deal is like it's like over $20 million, right? The rest of the players don't have that in the league. What's the other young lady? Asia Wilson might be able to. She'll probably be able to withstand a strike, and probably a handful of WNBA players might be able to withstand a full season strike. But the most of the players in the WNBA are like the young lady that I heard earlier this season said that she's afraid that they might have a lockout. And if there's a lockout, that's going to affect the players who, like the bench players, some of the a lot of the starting players too, because like I said, if they're not making a lot of money and they are replaceable, you know what I mean? The WNBA, I think what is it like 100 and it's like 140, 135, 140 players. Like you could hold a tryout and replace these young ladies, in no time. You could, especially if you up the pay. They're offering 4 times the pay. Um, so if they're offering 4 times the pay, then that's going to attract young ladies from all over the world, not just here in the United States. Now you got, and it'll be easy to replace a hundred women in the WNBA. So if you're out on strike and they want to bring somebody else in to take your place, they can do that. I seen it. Guys did it what for the football. I remember one year they had a football strike and the guys in the NFL did it, right? They called them scabs and all this other stuff, but they and replacement players, but they did it. They put a it's the uniform, the colors and stuff like that that really matters. So the players are replaceable, especially when a league that is as small as a WNBA. But I think that the WNBA behind the scenes are probably just not even really unrivaled, in my opinion, is over with, it's done. I think they're gonna play this year out. I think next year they'll probably fold, and yeah, that'll be it. Nafisa Kalia and Breonna Stewart will be back to focusing on the Lynx and the Liberty. They'll be back to focusing on their teams. So that's my take on it. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm gonna check you all out in the next video. Peace.